All right. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us here online. Meteorologist Ryan Breton with the latest on the storm that's moving in tonight. We remain on the weather watch for three main impacts from this storm. The first being rain, which may cause some flooding of basements, rivers, streams, poor drainage areas. The second, gusty winds, which may be enough for some power outages in spots. And the third will be coastal flooding. We have two high tides on Monday, one in the early morning before sunrise around 3 in the morning, and another one in the early afternoon. Both may cause inundation, flooding of vulnerable spots on the shoreline, but it especially looks like that early afternoon high tide could lead to some pretty widespread flooding as the water level would be so high during that time. Take a look at the various advisories. A flood watch in effect for all of the state except New London County, kind of a technicality there. They may get slightly less rain, but most of us looking at 2 to 4 inches of rain out of this storm. A high wind warning for the shoreline and all of New London. And that's where numerous power outages are possible, with wind gusts in the 50 to 60 mile per hour range. Inland expecting gusts still in the 40 to 50 mile per hour range at their strongest, which will be Monday morning. And there may be some power outages or some isolated, widely scattered damage inland, but it's really that high wind warning zone where we think the most impacts from wind will be. There's the coastal flood warning, minor to moderate flooding possible during the two high tides on Monday. And again, it looks like that early afternoon high tide is probably going to be the most problematic of the two. We've had a round of rain moving through early this evening, now getting into a little bit of a lull, but you can see a very impressive storm to our south. It's been soaking the Carolinas and mid-Atlantic with rain, a lot of coastal flooding too for the beaches and the shore communities down there. And as we analyze the map, you can see the area of low pressure right there, and that's what's going to be coming up the coast tonight, tracking right through New England tomorrow. So we'll show you the timing here. Periods of rain continuing through the night. The wind getting a little bit gusty at the shoreline, but the strongest winds hold off several more hours. So there won't be much wind inland until tomorrow morning. Heavier rain moving in toward and after midnight. And look at this at 3 in the morning, just pouring across the state. Buckets of rain, temperatures in the 50s, and that's when the wind really starts to pick up too. Between about 4 a.m. and 10 a.m., that's when the strongest wind gusts will be. Gusts to 60 miles per hour possible at the shore, gusts between 40 and 50 miles per hour the farther inland and north and west. And this is your morning commute. We've got areas of heavy rain, pouring in spots, and then this does start to move away into the afternoon. So the timing is unfortunate in that the worst wind and a lot of the heavy rain will be falling during the morning commute. Plan on a slow commute. There may be some delays. Can't even rule out a cancellation if we have any power outage disruptions Monday morning. The rain pretty much tapering by noon, but there may be one last batch of some showers that rotates through during the afternoon, and at that point the wind starts to come in out of the west. No major changes to the rainfall forecast. A widespread 2 to 4 inches of rain. We've been saying isolated higher amounts, and just to get a bit more specific, what looks like may happen here is the wind will be coming out of the south and east, and that bumps into the hills of northeast and especially northwest Connecticut and can help generate heavier precipitation. So we think some of those higher amounts on the order of 4 or 5 inches maybe in the hills west of Hartford, Avon, Canton, Burlington, down through Bristol and Waterbury, and then back toward Newtown too. Those may be some of the areas that pick up the highest amounts of rain, but all of us at risk for some flooding as this amount of rain comes through. Here's the timing for the wind. Again, at 10 o'clock tonight, it's really not that windy, except if you're at the shoreline. It will take several more hours for the winds to work inland, and it's really between about 4 in the morning and 10 in the morning when the strongest winds will happen. And notice it's the shoreline and the eastern side of the state where the strongest winds will be. That corresponds with the high wind warning zone we were showing you from the National Weather Service. 8 o'clock in the morning, you can see the strongest wind shifting into eastern Connecticut, and they may stay there for a bit before the strongest stuff gets pushed away in the early afternoon. So these are the highest gusts we forecast out of this storm. 40 to 50 miles per hour over most of the state, but within about 5-10 miles of the shoreline, and then up through the eastern part of the state, 50 to 60 mile per hour gusts are possible, and that's where some power outage issues may be on a bit more of a widespread level. And again, the timing of this is unfortunate, with the worst of it coming in right around sunrise and through the morning commute. Take a look at the 7-day forecast. It shows the weather is much quieter the rest of the week, and certainly the warmth that comes with the rain and wind will not stick around either. Chance for a shower on Tuesday, looking dry for Wednesday, and the winter solstice on Thursday. No snow in sight anytime soon. Stay with us for updates. We're here at 10 and 11 tonight, and the Fox 61 Morning News from 4 to 11 a.m. through the thick of it tomorrow morning.